Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
When you love what you do, you'll go to extremes to make sure it gets done, because you just have that love for the fun of the job. And you know what? That's something I live my life by. And if you're within the sound of my voice, guess what? You must be in the seats with once more. As always, my name is Dave Voigt, and I'm the host of this podcast, where we sit down with a wide-ranging variety of entertainment industry professionals, and we pick their brain about current projects, state of the industry, how they got started, and so very much more, in a light and in a conversational fashion. And if you like how we do things around here, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that you do, because let's face it, you're listening right now. And if you are listening, keep listening. And subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Give us your 5-star rating on your podcast provider of choice. We're available pretty much everywhere. Places like Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google. And plus, we archive every single one of our episodes over at our In the Seats YouTube channel. So if you can give us a like and subscribe there as well, we would certainly appreciate it. Also, don't hesitate to check us out on social media. We're on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Letterboxd, the TikTok, the Threads, the... who the hell knows where else. We're at a lot of places. At In the Seats for all sorts of fun updates. And finally, and I do dare say most importantly, please pay us a visit over at In the Seats, intheseats.ca, for all the latest and greatest from the world of film, television, basically the movie image at large. Because guess what? If we love to watch it and write about it and talk about it, we'll love it even more when you come by and read about it and listen about it. So please do us that kindness and pay us a visit. On this episode, we got a fun one. We are diving back into the thick of things with, well, it's not CanCon, but it's almost CanCon. Season 3 of Mayor of Kingstown has kicked off on Paramount Plus. If you don't already know, it's a fantastic show, which we absolutely love. We get a great kick out of it. It's a bit of it's crime drama, it's family drama, it's think of Sopranos, but without sort of the tropes. It's very humanistic. These characters do what they do because this is their lives and this is how they have to exist. And this is not playing into a genre. It's just really giving us a fantastic character drama. Starting with one only Jeremy Renner, who came back from his horrific injury, which don't need to talk about again, after being run over by a snowcat. Came back to work. Shooting in the dead of winter in Pittsburgh to get season 3 done. And in advance of the new season starting, or as the new season started, as it were, we had the unique pleasure of sitting down with one of his co-stars, but also co-creator of the show, the one and only Hugh Dillon, Canada's own musician turned fantastic actor turned multi-hyphenate. Across the board, he's a punk rocker, he's a writer, he's a producer. The man is kind of doing it all, and well, he's my hero. But I mean, he is one of Canada's fantastic talents who's really putting in the work and doing a lot of great stuff, especially here with Mayor of Kingstown that he co-created with one and only Taylor Sheridan. But we had the unique pleasure of sitting down and talking with Hugh about just the struggle of getting season 3 done and getting Jeremy back and sort of appreciating what they get to do for a living and the fun of it all, and just getting that sort of exhale moment to sort of appreciate how much they love what they do. And I mean, there's real joy in the work and talking to Hugh, and I mean, I think it comes through in this interview. But like I said, if you don't already have it, go sign up for Paramount Plus. It's a great service, if only because it's got Mayor of Kingstown on it. So go and watch it and have fun with it. And but first, enjoy our talk with the one and only Hugh Dillon, because quite frankly, it's a darn good one. Oh, now, I mean, just to obviously kick this off officially, I mean, just thank you so much for the time, man. I really appreciate this, as always. And I mean, just congrats on the work, well, that there is a season 3, really. Yes. I mean, in so many different ways.
Yeah. No, I mean, was there a question?
Oh, just almost more of a statement. Like, this almost feels like a moment to be able to exhale.
Oh,
really go,
yeah.
like, we got it done, you know?
No, it's been that way since last week when I was with Renner in New York, and we, saw the premiere, and it's like, we did it, because it was relenting.
Yeah.
From the time of his accident to writing the scripts, to getting to production, to the writer's strike, to the actor's strike, to landing in Pittsburgh, to shooting in the winter, and how the the weather would affect the titanium in his legs and his
Right.
face.
Yeah.
It was nothing was easy.
No, I mean that I guess that dovetails into my first official question. But I mean, was there sort of a plan A, B, C? Like, okay,
No.
okay, he's fine.
No.
Okay, he can work. Okay,
There's
he can coach.
Plan A. Plan A is
Yeah.
we're gonna. It's not if but when, and that was it. It's like I went up and saw him. I've dealt with adversary. What is it? Adversary.
Yeah, adversary.
Yes.
Yeah, adversary.
And
yeah.
he has, and we were there, and I could see it in his eyes, and he's like, I'm fucking gonna do this. And his mom was there, so it made it really kind of family-like, and she's like, you gotta look out for him. And I'm like, I am. And he's known me from season 1 and 2, and we worked on Wind River, and he knows I'm driven. And I'm like, we're gonna get the scripts in order, and we're gonna make them so as you read them in your recovery, you're gonna be inspired. Because I knew only he could deal with that kind of comeback and that physio, and he was so mad that he was going to do it, and I was with him. And so for me it was just kind of clearing the runway and making sure like there's no bullshit, and he knows that that's what I'll do. It's like I will always tell him the truth and where we're at, and then I want to know where he's at, and he's like, I think I can do that, and I'm like, I know you can do it. And then I show him the scripts, and he's like, these are great. And we worked with Dave Erickson, and Taylor Sheridan had some great ideas, and it was all about supporting Jeremy, and there was just no, well, what if he can't? There was none of it. It's like, I mean, he didn't want that, I didn't want that, and we didn't build our show that way. And, it goes back to the old thing that I have always done. There's no fucking compromise.
Mm.
You start compromising, where does it fucking end?
No, for sure. And I mean, especially given the everything that happened at the end of season 2,
Yeah.
it almost felt like Kismet for it not to be set up for Jeremy to have sort of an 8-minute wonder where he's sort of delivering a lot of, it's a lot of in and out, especially in that first episode. And I mean, I'm curious, like, how was he physically in terms of just, I can imagine the day-to-day, because I mean, again, it's a TV show, you're doing 12, 14, 16-hour days.
Yeah, and in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And with the snow and the weather affecting the titanium in his body, it was a challenge. But we learned that, on certain days, we had a heating tent, we had the Pittsburgh Penguins physio team there. We had everything you could even, shit that I'd never even heard of. There was what do you call those tanks? Those, there's a word for them. They are...
The cryogenics or the other?
Yeah, there's a tank.
Where you heal, they blast you and you heal.
He had one of those shipped in. We had things that I'm like, wasn't even aware of. And we used everything, and he used everything, and he pushed himself. And then we would just kind of modulate, how many days and what days are the stunts. And then he started doing his own stunts, which gave him confidence and drive. But then we'd have to modulate the next day or two because he'd have to recover.
Right.
But it was like, working with just a high performance athlete. He's a driven, talented, smart guy. And
For sure.
That's my teammate.
And I mean, there's something about this show which is so relatable, and I mean, I think it really does come down to sort of that sense of family. And I mean, given the everything that happened at the end of season 2 and sort of leading into 3, that really felt both on camera and maybe sort of externally off camera like it was being more invigorated, more sort of everyone's really on board to do it and tell the story and tell it right. There was sort of a let's do it for the team. You could feel the team mentality.
You could. Yeah, no, but that's a good point, and that's very good that you located that, because that is it. And it was there in season 1, it was there in 2, but in season 1 it was that for different reasons, because that was me and Taylor. It came from a conversation. That was us going back to Kingston and shooting in a pen I had scouted my entire life.
Right.
That was me using the local sports guy in Kingston in the 70s who'd end his sign off with, if you don't play a sport, be one.
Yeah.
So there are so many things that are authentic to my experience, the experience of working in a prison town. My character is named after my friend Ian Goodfellow, who passed away when he was 27. And so the McLuskys are like the Mulrooneys that I grew up with. There are so many things to me that's why it's its own beast. And Taylor brought in his world. And so this isn't a group of people or algorithm or notes from a studio.
Yeah.
This is a fucking couple of guys writing what they want to write. And now we've got Dave Erickson and we've got some new writers, and Taylor comes in on top and goes, here's what we're doing this year. And he started this year. Okay, Renner's coming in, and he had some great ideas, and he knew where he wanted to end. He goes, what do you got? I got car bombs and heroin. He goes, love it. Plug that in. So, and mine's based out of Montreal drug wars, and heroin I'm well acquainted with. And so they come from our experiences and the characters that we've met in our lives that make us laugh or stop and think or are astounded by their audacity. It is all of those things. It isn't people who watch other movies and then write a version of that movie.
Well, that's just it. Everything the characters do is born out of the necessity of the environment, not out of the trope, not out of the genre.
None of it. I mean, I could go through it. That's from that. My band are great because they watch and go, oh, I remember when that happened. Or we remember watching somebody loaded drive right into a cement wall. Or that, there are so many things that it's the opportunity to use your life's memories and all the things that you know are good stories. And that's what Taylor does. It's like you find things that you're genuinely interested in, committed to, and you want to explore and you're curious about, and you get the opportunity to lay them out. And that's what I've done as a songwriter.
No, absolutely. And I mean, it's also one of those things that I almost feel like your experience as a musician, and obviously a well-traveled and toured musician, almost plays into sort of the ability to be a producer as well. Because again, it's one of those things where it's just like, fuck it, we got to get it done.
Yes.
Like, we just got to figure it out.
The show goes on.
Yeah.
Yes. And, and also the intricacies of human emotion from being on the road and playing with bands and doing all of these things and seeing people, at the height being upset and at their lowest finding the strength. It's human emotion that if you can tap into that with powerful stories that are real, that's watchable.
What made you want to sort of bridge the gap? Because, I mean, at your heart of hearts, you're a storyteller.
Yeah.
But obviously people, you started your music, you transitioned to film and TV. What made sort of...
No, I'll tell you.
No, but what made wanting to sort of exist in both worlds, I guess is the question.
I was pissed off because none of those were open to me. Because from in high school on, it's like, your guidance counselor's like, no,
Yeah.
I didn't do well in school.
Right.
So it's like, I couldn't get into the drama program. I couldn't get into any of these things. So it was just pure will. Because what I was truly interested in was film, television, and music. I had older brothers and sisters, so I was educated by those things and fascinated with them. And then you get champions that some people who go, oh, don't underestimate this kid. And one was Gord Downey. He championed me in high school. He was like, I did lights for his first band, the Slinks. I had albums. I wanted to sing in a band. I wanted to do shit. And when I got to be in the Headstones, he got Universal and MCA to go, we know him. He's great. You should sign him. And they did. And then Bruce McDonald championed me for acting. Calvin Keith Renner championed me to get into it more. When I got to America for Sundance, Vera Farmiga said, you need to move to LA. You need to get into this. I was driven to do it, but it is not an easy business. Getting a record deal is not easy. Getting an acting gig, you have to understand that you are going to hit a wall of fucking apathy.
Yeah.
And it is your job to not give a shit. It's like, and if nobody sees it, I know I left it all on the field. If nobody goes to, the Headstones could play a gig for 10 people in Hamilton in 1992, and those 10 people are fans to this day because they watched you go and give a shit when there was, most people would go, we're not going to do it tonight. or we're not going to turn it on. You got to do it for yourself, and that's what it is. It's you're telling that you have to be driven. You have to have that fire, and if you don't, it's just easier to get sideswiped and maybe I can't do it, because there's a lot of people who say, yeah, you can't do that, and I am here to tell you that you can.
Well, it's such a simple idea that gets lost along the way that I mean I've talked to so many people, and even in my own life I've found that it's like, if you don't give up, you're winning.
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't quit, you're winning.
Yes. Yeah. And it's 100%. That is it. And especially, I moved to Los Angeles to break into the business in my 40s, and people are just rolling their eyes. They're like, "Come on, dude! And you're Canadian? No.
And you're not funny. You're not a Canadian."
Yes. And it's like, and Taylor Sheridan was going, "You have something. So here's what we're gonna do." And he coached me on 75 episodes of Flashpoint and 15 episodes of Durham County, or more, I think 30. And he was like, you're going to do this. And then when I got the chance, I was like, dude, I've never met anybody who can break down scenes, characters, dialogue like you. You should write. And I brought a printer over, and Mayor of Kingstown was the first thing that he ever wrote. And then he got an agent, and then he did Sicario. But that was it. It's like you find, like the guitar player Trent Carr in the Headstones. You find people that champion you, who you enjoy their conversations, and when they're creative, it's exciting. You walk away thinking you can do anything, and I've been lucky because I've met like-minded people who don't give up.
Yeah. How did Flashpoint and Durham kind of help you get to this moment? Because I remember watching those shows as a fan and talking up to people going, no, this shit's really good. Oh, but it's Canadian. No,
yes.
No, this shit's really good.
It was really good. Well, I'll tell you, Nina Tassler, who was the head of CBS in America, saw Durham County, and that's why she greenlit Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Because I was there and went in for a meeting. Durham County was an exceptional piece of work. It was ahead of its time. It kicked the doors open for Canadian television.
Yeah, it really did.
There were some great writers and actors, and Adrienne Mitchell produced that, and I learned a lot from her, and Janice Lensman, and they were tenacious women who wanted to make great things that were not easy subject matter. And then I met another great producer, Anne-Marie LaTraverse, with Flashpoint, and these women were moving into male-dominated worlds, and they were kicking ass and doing it their way, and I respected it because, and I was their lead. They chose me as the lead, and I listened to everything they said, and I wanted to execute for them. And I absorbed what it was they did as producers. And so when I got the chance to produce Mayor, I had great teachers. Bruce McDonald was another one. But I really the producers from Durham County and from Flashpoint really changed the course of everything for me. So I was able to navigate on this giant American field.
At the end of the day, because obviously this show is such a great hit and it's so well recognized, North America, wherever people are watching it, people are loving
India,
it.
I just did work for India
Love
yesterday.
Love it. But there's such noise out there in terms of what to watch and what to look at. At the end of the day, how do you think you rise above and sort of make something that's memorable? Is it just that simple idea of not giving up on your vision, always plan
yourself.
A, and just do it for yourself and don't fucking give up?
Yes, you do it for yourself. If you're trying to fit somebody else's idea of what's popular or what's going to work, or cast whoever's the most popular whatever, you're already in trouble. You got to like the page. You got to like the story you have on the page. And if it's good enough and it really is saying something, you will get Jeremy Renner. You will get Diane Wiest. You will get these actors who want to engage. And you will get great cinematographers and great directors. And you will get, you will inspire them. It's like Renner wants to do season 4. It's like you've got to build it for him to go, I love it. It's fun. And that's the other thing that I didn't say. You want to have fun.
Yeah.
And I love doing it. Flashpoint was fun.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun on that show. And if you can find the fun and it doesn't just turn into work and a grind, you could do this for as long as you want. If it's the writing's smart and the environment, and we're lucky we're shooting in Pittsburgh, it's all what you make it.
That's why I'm so lucky to have somebody like Renner come in on this, because, I mean, it would have been so easy for him to just give up and not sort of work on it, but he missed the fun.
Yes.
He missed the fun.
Yes. Yeah. He knew it was important for him. He just intuitively knew. And he knew that, he knows me, so he knew that I would just dig deep and go.
Well, Hugh, brother, just keep digging deep and keep going, man.
Great.
And just thank you so much again for the time today. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Yeah.
Good questions.
Thank you. And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. You can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.